right. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys. Oh, now my screen is acting funny. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a very simple pattern. You've all seen something along these lines before. And if anybody wants to unmute and give me the answer, go ahead and do so. So I'm going to write here 2, 5. Oh, let's go back a little. 8, 11. Dot, dot, dot. All right. If anybody wants to unmute and tell me what comes next, what comes next in this sequence? What number comes next?
11, 12, 13, 14.
14, absolutely. The next number is going to be 14. All right. And what we're looking at here is a simple arithmetic sequence, right? In that we can tell by looking at what's happening in the numbers before to see what's going to come next. So I know to get from 1 to the next, I need to add 3 and then add 3 and add 3. And add 3. Now, an arithmetic sequence or an arithmetic pattern is something tantamount to a linear sequence. Okay, and what do we mean by linear? We literally mean exactly that. The sequence moves in the form of a line. As we would see, we're adding 3. We add 3, we add 3. We could draw a straight line with all of these numbers if we had a chart. So if we were to open up a chart like this, if I plot the first sequence, the first number in the sequence is 2. The second number in the sequence is 5. If I had to join all of these with dots like that, they would all create a straight line. Does this look familiar? Has anybody seen something along these lines before other than patterns? Anybody? Anyone got an idea where we've seen this before? Yeah, it's just like y equals mx plus c. It's like y equals mx plus c, right? Except instead of giving you the formula, I've given you the x values and I've given you the y values. Are we understanding that? Thumbs up. Are we all good? Okay, lovely. All right, so we're going to learn some new terminology. Unfortunately, you are 100% spot on, but we're not going to use that terminology. Otherwise, it's going to, not yet. Otherwise, it's going to start confusing people. So let's start at the beginning. All right, so I'm going to show you guys two new formulas that we're going to learn. Okay, they both do the same thing. They just do it in different ways. Okay, the first one we're going to look at is this one over here. It says Tn equals A plus bracket n minus 1d. Let's write that down if we're taking notes. Or we could say Tn is equal to Dn plus C. And both of these formulas will do the exact same thing for us when we look at a particular formula. All right, so let's go back to this example that Teacher Coco is doing. Yes, my darling.
I just wanted to ask, are these formulas the same as Tn equals A plus D open bracket n minus 1?
Yes, I'll show you why. Let me show you why. If I do this, if I say 3 open brackets x minus 1, what would you do?
I would calculate the FOIL method.
Right, we would distribute, right? You would do that.
Yes,
and your answer would come out as 3x minus 3. Yes? Okay.
Yes,
what if I did this? What if I wrote x minus 1 and then I put the 3 on this side? What would you do?
Wouldn't I distribute?
Exactly.
No.
You do the exact same thing. So whether I write the D on this side or whether I write it on that side, I'm going to do the exact same thing with it. Are you understanding what ma'am is saying?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So it's the exact same formula, except where your D is here, mine is on that side. Okay. So don't stress.
And
we're doing the exact same thing. Yes, my darling?
I think only after like you explained the topic we're doing, we have done this. So yeah.
Okay. So now we
can as number patterns. So I was just like, what? When I first saw.
So number patterns, in that they are number patterns, but they're different types. So today we're learning about arithmetic patterns, and on Wednesday we will learn about geometric patterns. But they're all number patterns. They're just different types of them. Okay.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay. So I want us to note that in this particular sequence, we can tell that to get from one number to the next, we keep adding 3. So 3 is kind of the common thing that we have here. And what we call this number that we keep adding over and over again is a common difference. It's called a common difference, and we denote it with a D. D. So if you go back and you look in this formula that ma'am has written down here, these two formulas down here, this D over here means common difference, and this D in this formula over here also means common difference. So when we are calculating for the general formula, and we're going to get to what that means as well, wherever we see the letter D, we are going to go and look at the common difference. We're looking at what happens from one number to the next. What exactly are we adding or subtracting to get to the next number? Now, the way we figure out what this is actually, what the common difference actually is what Fortunate has told us to do. He told us to take T2 minus T1. Now, this T2 and T1 stuff sounds a little bit complicated, but it's actually not. Here's what this is actually telling us. It's telling us that in position 1, the number is 2. So this position 1 is denoted as T1. So T1 is equal to 2. I can write it like that. I can say T1 is equal to 2. Now, I want you guys to tell me, what is T4 equal to? T4 is equal to what? Look at the position and tell me exactly where it is. It cannot be T3. Okay, remember, the T1 tells me of the position. So I'm asking you guys, what number is in the 4th position? That's the correct answer, Desmarie. We are looking at 11. Let's go ahead and look at why that is. Right. If I keep going, this is the number in position 1, it's 2. In position 2, I have 5, so my T2 is 5. In position 3, I have 8. T3 is equal to 8. And in position 4, T4, I have 11. So T4 is equal to 11. I'll ask you guys again. What is T5? What is the number in position 5?
14.
It's 14. Lovely. So I just want to check everybody understands what the T1. Do we understand what T1, T2, T3 means? Thumbs up. Is everybody okay with me? We're looking at the number in that position. So T1 means position 1. Position 1 equals 2. Okay, now let's talk about what Fortunate was saying in this particular example. Now he's saying that T1 or T2 minus T1. So we know what number is in the T2 position. In T2 position, we have 5. So if I take T2 and I minus T1 from it, I'm going to take 5 minus the number in T1 in position 1, that's 2, and that is equal to 3. Now, the reason we want to do this is because if we want a common difference, we now have to make sure that we get a common difference of 3 everywhere. So my common difference will be T2 minus T1. But my common difference must also be T3 minus T2. Can anybody unmute and fill in the numbers for T3 minus T2 for me?
T3 is 8.
Good.
And T2 is 5.
Correct. So we would say then, in this case, we would say T3 minus T2 is 8 minus 5. How much is 8 minus 5?
3.
3. Lovely. And now we can see that the common difference between the number in position 2 and 1 is 3. And the common difference between position 3 and 2 is also 3. And that is why we can then call it a common difference. Thumbs up. Is everybody here with me? Are we all okay with how to calculate for the common difference? Okay, if not, you guys know, just ask ma'am and I'm happy to answer again. All right. I can explain again. Okay, lovely. So we've learned 2 things so far. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. First thing we learned is that T anything means that we're looking for the position. We're looking for the number in that position. Position 7. So T7 equals, there will be a number at position 7. We've also learned that D is the common difference. And we know that if we want to calculate for D, which is the common difference, we must take T2 and minus T1. And the answer that we get for T2 minus T1 must equal the same thing we would get if we took T3 minus T2. All right. Now, don't think that it only works with these two numbers. It should work with all numbers. Really, it should. So if I decided to take T5 minus T4, that must also be the same as T4 minus T3. They must all give me the same difference. Because I'm looking for a common difference, they must all be the same. Thumbs up. Is everybody understanding what ma'am is saying here? Are we cool? Okay, so remember, all of them must be exactly the same. Okay, and then the last thing we will learn about is the A and the C, and we'll talk about each of those now. All right, so the reason why most of your high school textbooks will have this formula is because it's easy to find A. Who knows what is A? What is A?
A is the first term of the sequence.
Absolutely. A is equal to T1. Whatever number you have in position 1, that is A. A is your first term. Okay, A is your first term. Now, in this other formula, the C that we're looking at over here, C would stand for the constant. Okay, it's called the constant, C. All right, but in this case, we would want to use this formula because it makes our lives just a teeny bit easier in that we don't have to go, we don't actually have to go and figure out what the constant is. So I'm going to put this to a vote. I want to see if we're all on the same page. All right. If you want to use this first formula with A and n minus 1D, I want you to put a thumbs up in the chat. Okay, thumbs up. If you want us to use this formula, I want you to put a heart in the chat. And then I'm going to see how many of each we have, and then I can decide which formula we want to use for this particular lesson. Okay, Fortunate says number 1. I'm seeing, oh, I saw a heart and then a thumbs up. All right, thumbs up, thumbs up. I'm seeing thumbs up from just Yvonne. So I'm not sure about everyone else. But I'll tell you guys what. In your textbooks in grade 10 and 11 and grade 12, they are going to use the thumbs up one. Okay, so we're going to learn the thumbs up one. It just makes our lives a little bit easier. And I'll show you exactly what we do with it. We're going to use this in an example. All right. So let's start here. Here's our example. It says here, we are given the following sequence. Now, whenever we see a sequence, there are always two things that we need to find. The first thing we need to find is our A, which is our first term. Then we need to find our D, which is our common difference. Now, A is easy for us to see. A is the number in position 1. What is the number in position 1?
7.
It's 7, absolutely. So our A is 7. That makes our lives a lot easier. Now we have to figure out the common difference. Now remember we said D is our common difference, so we can take T2 minus T1, and that would equal, the number in position 2 is 11, so 11 minus T1 is 7, and that is equal to 4. And I have to check, I have to make sure it's the exact same distance or the same difference if I take T3 minus T2. And that would give me 15 minus 11, which is indeed 4. So we now know that our common difference D is equal to 4. Okay, now let's go about answering these questions that they've given us here. Now they say that they want us to determine the general formula. Now the general formula is just going to be this formula up here. This one that we're using over here, it's just that we're going to replace the D value and we're going to replace the A value. The thing that we cannot replace in this particular formula is N. because it's a general formula and we don't know which number they're looking for, which position they're looking for. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to take Tn is equal to, let me just write it here because now it's gone, A plus bracket n minus 1 d. All right, Tn is equal to, I know my A value is 7 plus, open bracket, n minus 1, and we said our common difference is 4. Now, the only thing left to do here is for us to distribute. We're going to take the 4 and we're going to distribute it into this bracket here. So I will then have Tn is equal to 7 plus 4n minus 4. Now, your last step is to just take all of these and add like terms. So Tn is equal to 4n plus 3. All right, thumbs up. Everybody okay with what ma'am has done here? Are we all okay? Okay, let me give you another one. I want to see if you guys can find me the general formula. I'm going to move over to the side. Otherwise, we're not gonna be able to get to this. How do I do that? All right, there we go. Move over. Let's make it a nice, easy one so that you guys can try your hand at it. 3, 8, 13, 18. All right, so I want you guys to find me the general formula. So I want you to find me something like this. So we're going to have Tn equals A plus, open bracket, n minus 1 d. All right, what are the two things we need to find in order to make our general formula? We need to find our A value and we need to find our D value. Now, I know that this particular process is exhausting, so you don't have to do it every time. But the reason I'm keep doing it is because at some point we are going to have to use it. Okay, so when you're ready, pop your answer for the general formula in the chat for me, please. Yes, I see a hand. Yes, Mandisa.
Ma'am, I have the answer.
That was super fast. Like, people are still busy. Okay, let's give everybody 1 minute and then we'll come back to it. Okay.
Okay.
So, my darling, that was too fast. More seconds, everyone. Fortunate is done. Valisa's also done. Oko's done. All right. I'm just going to check on everyone else. Sia, are we good? Desmarie, are we okay? I'm not hearing anything from the 11 other people in the chat. Abulele, how are we doing? Amanda? Hello, Jaden. Hi, Kia Pitsui. Okay, lovely. Sophie, Tyler, are we all good? All right, lovely. Hello, Jaden. It's lovely to see you with us today again. All right, okay, Mandisa, you want to take it away?
Okay, ma'am. So I didn't use your formula, right? I did use your formula. I just put the D in front of the brackets.
Which is fine because we're going to distribute anyway. So it's perfectly fine, my darling.
So the answer is -2 plus 5n.
Okay, cool. We can do that. Okay, let's just roll it back. I want you to put it into the formula. Okay, I don't mind if we put the D in front. I want you to actually walk us through your process here. Okay, so let's start with A. We said A was?
A is 5 because 18 minus 13. Oh, sorry, is 3. Sorry. I thought it was
Use the number in the first position. Good. D is?
A is D. D is 5 because
Good.
18
D is 5. Correct. Yes. It's 5. 13 minus 8 is 5. 8 minus 3 is 5. Good. All right. So let's put this in the formula. We go. Tn
equals 3 plus 5. Open brackets, n minus 1.
Lovely. And then your next step?
Then you'd say you place the 3 down, then you distribute 5 with the brackets. So 5 times n equals 5n, and then 5 times -1 is -5.
Excellent. And then we just add like terms. Good. So Tn equals
-2 plus 5.
plus 5n. Beautifully done, my darling. Or you could write 5n minus 2, both of them spot on. Well done, Mandisa. Absolutely. Everybody else, thumbs up. Did we manage with this question? Are we all good? Lovely. Okay. All right. So let's actually put our general formula to use. Let's not just get a general formula for the sake of getting a general formula. Let's actually use it. All right. So we've answered the first question. It says, determine the general formula. We've said Tn is equal to 4n plus 3. Now, the question says, determine the 12th term. When they say the 12th term, they are actually asking us for the number in position 12. Okay, position 12. And I know that if I'm looking for a number in a position, I can say T12. T12 will equal something. Now, if you look very closely, this is Tn. This is just Tn. And I've taken this tiny little n over here, and I've gone and I've replaced it with a 12, which means I now have to go into my whole formula, and wherever I see an n, I'm going to replace it with 12. Okay, so I'm then going to say T12 is equal to 4 times 12 plus 3. And that will give me the answer that I'm looking for. So 4 times 12, 48. Plus 3 is 51. Okay. Now let's look at the next question. Next question says, sorry, I'm just making space. Otherwise, I'm not going to have space to write. The next question says, which term of the sequence is 79? So I know that I have T something equals 79. So that means I can go in and I can replace the whole of Tn with 79. And I'm hearing a bleep. Is that someone's hand? Yes, Mandisa.
Ma'am, can I answer this one with you?
Absolutely, yes. Ah, loving the enthusiasm, my darling. Okay, tell me what we're going to do here. What are we going to do?
Ma'am, so I don't know where you're taking, but can I explain it in the way I understand it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so what I did is I put the general formula down as is the one that we have gotten from the previous one.
Good. Tn equals 4n plus 3. Lovely. Good. Next step.
And then the Tn, I put 79.
Absolutely. There, we're going to replace that with 79. Good. So we'll have 79 equals 4n plus 3. So what are we solving for now, madam?
Now we're solving for n.
Absolutely. Walk me through the steps.
Would move the 3 to the other side, saying 79 minus 3.
Good.
Which is 76. So then you'd say 76 equals 4n. Then you divide 4 by both sides.
Good. Divide by 4, divide by 4. Therefore, n is equal to?
19.
Is equal to 19. Beautiful work. All right. Mandisa, look, I'm going to be honest with you, my darling. I feel like I'm going to just take the evening off. And then Mandisa's just going to teach the rest of the lesson, guys. I think I'm just going to collect the paycheck. Mandisa's got this, guys. I think, do you just want to take over, my darling? I feel like I'm going to go have like an early pamper night, put on some face mask, and then Mandisa can just go ahead and finish up. Hey,
ma'am, as long as you give me 50%, then.
Oh no! You see, I was gonna give you 5%, and I was gonna take my 95 off the top.
Ma'am.
But you did such an excellent job, my darling. Well done. Beautiful work. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to be absolutely quiet because here's our next example. And I want you to walk us through the example. I'm just going to write down what you tell me to write down. How does that sound?
That sounds perfect, ma'am.
Absolutely. And I'll give you a virtual 5% for all your hard work.
Okay, ma'am.
All
Can I
right.
please have like 5 minutes to write down all the answers first?
Okay, absolutely. In fact, let's give everybody 5 minutes to see if they can do the question, to check their own understanding. All right.
Okay.
5 minutes, my darling. When you're ready, we will get started. Everybody, let's try the question. Well done. Palisa, I know this is a very common method. We all kind of know exactly what to do, but it's in the wording. We need to be very careful with the wording. All right. Okay, pop your favorite emoji on the chat or on the screen when you guys are ready. And we'll chat about some other little bit more challenging stuff after this. Let's see if you guys can get it. I'll give you guys 1 more minute, but remember, guys, if you're stuck with anything, please put something in the chat so that I can help you along. Okay, don't just be quiet. That's why we're here. We're here to help. All right. All right. It's seeming like our teacher's actually ready for us. Is everybody else ready? Can we dive in, or do you need a few more seconds? Okay, Mandisa, let's give them the extra minute. Yes, give them an extra minute, and then you can keep diving. All right, I think that's all the time we're going to afford them. All right, Teacher Mandisa, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so I'm going to ask one question, and then after that, you'll take it away. All right, what are the two things we need in order to write our general formula?
You need A and D. A
Beautiful.
being the first term, which is 18.
Good.
And D being -4.
Negative.
I mean, -7. So,
-7, not -4. All right, good. -7. Lovely. Okay, let's determine our general formula.
okay, so you'll place down the formula as is, but something will change, which is the sign between A and D.
Good. N-1. All right, good.
Then you say 18 minus 7,
Good.
open brackets, N-1, close brackets.
Lovely. Good. This, because technically this is plus -7, and a plus and minus will give us a minus. Lovely. Yes. Keep going.
And then you place 18 down, then say -7 times n, which is 7n, and then -7 times -1, which gives you +7.
Okay, I missed that one. -7 times n should give us?
-7n.
That's it, -7n, and then?
-7 minus -1 will give you +7.
So multiplied by that. All right, finish up, my darling.
Okay. Then you add like terms together. 18 plus 7 gives you 25.
Absolutely.
And then you're left with your -7n.
Good. 25 minus 7n. Or, I'm just going to write in here because I know somebody else wrote it differently. Or how else can we write this?
-7 plus 25. -7n plus 25.
That's it. We can do either of those just to make sure we're covering everyone's answers. Okay, beautiful stuff. Come on. Question A, done. Let's talk about B.
Okay. B is T10 equals 25 minus 7 times 10.
Absolutely. Well done. Equals?
-45.
That's it. -45. Beautiful work. All right. Now let's talk about C. What's happening at C?
C is, we are finding the which term of the sequence is equal to -129. Wait, ma'am. I wrote 125 and not 9.
Did it work out with 125? I'm not sure if it would.
Let me just get the other answer now.
Okay, we can do it as you chat with your calculator open. So where are you going to put -129?
I will put it on the side where Tn is, and then I'll say
the whole of Tn with -129. Good. So tell me what to write.
129.
-129.
Then you would move 25. Oh, sorry. And then equals 25 minus 7n.
Good. And then the next step.
And then you'd move 25 to the other side where 129 is, -129 is.
Good. So we'll get -129 minus 25. How much does that give us?
104.
The number should be higher, my darling. Or, sorry, it should be smaller. It should be much smaller.
Oh, 100. Ma'am, it gives me 154.
Correct.
Yes.
Negative
154.
154. -154 equals, what's left?
-7.
N. Lovely. What's our next move?
And then you divide -7 by both sides.
-7, -7. Good. Therefore, N is equal to?
22.
22. Good. So that tells us that T22 is equal to -120. And guys, I mean, give it up for literally the person who's actively trying to steal my job. I see you, Mandisa. I've clocked you. You're literally trying to steal my job because just absolute perfection. Well done.
Ma'am, I wouldn't do that.
You sound very sneaky. I'm hearing that. I
wouldn't do that.
Well done, my darling. Look, this is the best way. This is how you become a mathematician. When you know how to teach other people how to do something, and this is practically it. That means you understand it 100%. Well done. Sure. Whoop, whoop. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Okay. Shall we complicate everyone's life a little bit more? Yeah? As ma'am always does. Let's go ahead and complicate life just a little bit. All right. So if you want to practice a little bit more of those, everybody can take a screenshot of this. Okay? Go see if you can do these 4 questions again. Look, they want you to find the general formula. So Tn equals something. And then they want you to find the 15th term. So T15 equals something. All right. So 5 seconds to take a screenshot. 4, 3, 2, and 1. That's all the time I'm going to afford you guys to check your understanding with this. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, it says here, an arithmetic sequence has a 10th term of 17 and a 14th term of 30. Find the common difference and hence the general formula. I've added this part because we've just learned about the general formula and I really want us to put it to good use. Okay, so now here's the problem that I'm having. I haven't been given this and that one after the other, right? So I can't find a general formula, but there are two things that I always need to find in order to find a general formula. What are the two things I need? Anybody remember? If I want to write down the general formula, I need two things.
You need A and D.
Beautiful, Oko. We need A and D. And this is problematic in that I don't have any of these two things. They haven't given me the first term and they haven't given me the common difference. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do something that we learned for the first time in grade 10. I'm going to use a simultaneous equation. So as soon as I see that they have not given me an A or a D or a way to calculate for D, I'm going to use simultaneous equations. Let me show you what we're going to do. I'm first going to take the biggest number, that one. So I know that the number in position 14 is 30. So I know that let me not do that. I know that T14 is equal to 30. Oh, I need some space, so I'm going to move it a little bit further away. Is equal to 30. I also know that the number in position 10 is 17. So I know that T10 is equal to 17. Now, what I'm going to do is, as it's written here, I'm going to do that. Equation 1, equation 2. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, instead of writing T14, I'm going to write the formula for the arithmetic sequence. I know that T10 would actually be A plus, or T14 would be A plus 14 minus 1 multiplied by D. Okay, thumbs up. I may have moved a little fast there. Is everybody understanding what ma'am has done there? Let me try that again. Okay, I'm going to try that again. All right, so if I wrote here, T14 is equal to 30. I know that normally I would have Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 D, right? Now, because this answer is 30, I could take the whole of Tn and I can replace it with 30. That's where I've written the 30 on this side. Okay, now let's go to this other side over here. Now, because I know that this is T14, I can go T14, which is that number over there, is equal to A plus, but now I've replaced n with 14. So I can then go 14 minus 1 multiplied by D. But I know what T14 is. T14 is 30. So if you look at this and you look at what ma'am has written over here, do we see how they're the same thing? I've just swapped them around. Everybody okay with that? Fortunate? Oko, are we good? Okay, good. All right. So let's clean it up a little bit. I'm going to clean it up. All right. So I'll do that in the next step. Otherwise, I'm going to lose you. All right. Let's try and do the same thing that we've done up here with down here. Now, remember over here, I've got T10. So wherever I see an N, I'm going to replace the N with 10. So I'm going to get, I don't know what A is, so I'm going to get A plus, now normally there'd be an N there, so I'm going to write 10 minus 1, close bracket, times D. Thumbs up. Everybody okay with what I've done in that next one? Okay, remember all I did was I took the 14 and I replaced n with it, and I took the 10 and I replaced n with it. Okay, so let's clean these up. I'm going to clean these up a little bit. So in that first one, in equation 1, I'm going to have A plus, now 14 minus 1 is 13. So I'm going to have A plus 13D. 13D equals 30. That's equation 1. And who can tell me what will I get for equation 2?
A plus 9D equals 17.
Absolutely. A plus 9D equals 17. All right, let me move this out of the way because otherwise it's going to get in our way. I'm going to move it down quickly. All right, then my next instruction for my simultaneous equation is I'm just going to say, take equation 1 and minus equation 2. I'm going to use elimination. So I'm going to draw a big line there to see that we're minusing one from the other. All right, so A minus A will give us 0. 13D minus 9D will give me 4D. And that will equal to 30 minus 17, which is equal to 13, right? 13. This is such a weird question. I feel like it was written wrong. Yeah, sorry, guys. I don't know what textbook I got this from, but I'm going to change this to 32, to 31 to make our lives just a little bit easier. Sorry, guys. I'm doing mental maths. Okay. I'm going to make this 33 instead. 33. Okay, it will work out a lot nicer if I do that. If I make this 33. Okay, so the 14th term is 33. Okay, 33 minus 17 will give us how much? Sorry, guys, I did that on purpose. Gives us?
16.
16. Thank you, my darling. It gives us 16. Okay, so I now, it gives us 16. Sorry, otherwise 13 is such an ugly number. Okay, now I've now eliminated A, but I can find the common difference. I know what the common difference is. What is my common difference? I've got 4D equals 16 left, so I can then divide by 4, divide by 4. Therefore, our common difference D is equal to 4. Okay, thumbs up. Everybody okay with what ma'am did here? Yes? Should we try again? Maybe let's try another one. I feel like this one was a bit, yeah, let's do another one. Okay, I'm going to move over to the side and we can do a different one. Otherwise, this one just gets messy. Where is that one that okay, we're going to move it over to the side over there and we're going to see if we can do it over here. Give me space. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so this one says, find the arithmetic sequence, that's what the AS stands for, whose third term is 4 and whose 10th term is 28. Okay, so we're going to start the process again. We're first going to say, remember, we always want to take the bigger number over the smaller number. Otherwise, it just gets a little bit messy. So we want to start by saying T10 is equal to 28. And then we want to say T3 is equal to 4. Now, I'm going to remind you again, Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 D. Now, the Tn part we've replaced with 28, and the Tn part we've replaced with 4. So on this side, we're going to replace this left side with that. Okay, can anybody tell me what I'm going to replace T10 with on this side? Let me actually write it here so that we remember we're using T10. Okay, what would this side then look like? What would we say? Anybody remember? Might be a little complicated. I'm just going to go in and I'm going to replace n with 10 on this side. Okay, so I'm going to say a plus, open brackets. Now, because it's T10, I'm going to replace n with 10. So I'll have 10 minus 1, close bracket, d. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing with T3. Can anybody tell me what goes here?
A
Good, A.
plus packet, open packet for
Mhm.
4.
What is T? It's the third term. So what is our n? Our n is
3.
3, yeah.
3. Good, because it's T3, right? So finish up for me, please, my boy. So we get
3
mm,
minus 1,
good.
close packet, and D.
D. Excellent. Good. And that's equation 1 over there. And this is equation 2. Beautiful work, guys. Okay, let's clean it up a little bit. Okay, so equation 1, I'm going to clean up. I'm going to say A plus 10 minus 1 will give me 9D is equal to 28. And for my equation 2, I'm going to say A plus 3 minus 1, that is 2D equals 4. Then my last step is just to say 1 minus 2. Okay, equation 1 minus equation 2. So I'm just going to draw a straight line down there. And then I'm going to say A minus A will give us 0. 9D minus 2D will give us 7D. And that is equal to 28 minus 4 gives us 24. Okay, next step is to solve for D. So we're going to divide by 7, divide by 7. And this is also just a very ugly answer. I don't like this one either. Okay, D is equal to 24 over 7. Should not give us a nice answer. The answer is just going to be 24 over 7. I don't know where I got these questions, guys, but they suck. They're not exactly the best questions. Let me see if I make that 27 minus 4. Okay, I'm going to change that one to 25 for the next one. All right. Okay, thumbs up. Is everybody okay with the steps that ma'am has taken here? Are we all okay? Yes, it's quite multi-step. I'll tell you that. Okay, it takes a while. Yes, you could. Absolutely. It's a grade 10 concept, Mamela, and I'm going to give one to you now so you can try it. Okay, here's your next challenge. I need to move over to this side. Okay, here we go. All right. So, and we're just finding D. Okay, it says here, an arithmetic sequence has a 7th term of 54 and a 13th term of 94. Find the common difference. I'm going to remind you guys again, T is equal to A plus N minus 1, open bracket, D. All right, and pop an emoji in on the screen when you're ready. Mamela, always fractions. Okay, fractions are much more accurate than decimals, because what happens on your calculator is that the decimals cut, like your calculator cuts the decimals off. So you don't actually have the full number. But if it's a fraction, you're sure that you've got all the numbers encased in the fraction. Okay, so always leave it as a fraction unless they ask you otherwise. Sure, Tyler, no worries. We are recording, so if you ever need to come back, that's okay. Okay, don't stress, my darling. Okay, guys, please be careful. This one also gives us a fraction, so make sure that you're giving the right fraction as an answer. Okay. Hey, Mamelo's done. Well done. And Palisa as well. How's everyone else going? Fortunate done. Okay, we can give you 30 seconds and then we're going to look at the answer for this one. All right, peeps, that's all the time I'm going to afford you. Otherwise, we're going to go over the lesson. All right, let's look at what we're going to do here. Remember, we're going to start with the biggest number. So we're going to have T13. Okay, T13 must equal 94. And then T7 must equal 54. Okay, we're going to name this equation 1 and we're going to name this equation 2. Now we know what goes on the inside here. We're going to go in and we're going to replace that side with what we have. So we'll have A plus, open brackets, 13 minus 1 D. Okay, then on the other side, oh, I'm lying. This one should actually work out quite nicely. Okay. No, I'm lying. It should give us a fraction, yes. Okay, and then at the bottom, I should get A plus 7 minus 1 D. Okay, and then we're going to clean it up. We're going to say equation 1, we're going to get A plus 12D equals 94. And then equation 2, A plus 6D is equal to 54. Okay, and then I'm just going to take equation 1 minus equation 2. So over. A minus A will give us 0. 12D minus 6D would give us 6D. And 94 minus 54 is equal to 40. Okay, then we'll divide by 6. Divide by 6. If you put that into your calculator, D should equal 40 over 6, which is the same as 20 over 3. How did we do? Did we manage? Did we get 20 over 3? Woo-hoo! Well done. Okay. All right. So there is something else that comes up that's a little bit more complicated than this, but we will deal with that specifically on Wednesday.